mostly like why and what I chose and why I chose it, and some other things you might do differently or I might do differently, things I might do in the future. And as you can see, I've beaten it up just a little bit already with a couple of projects. I used it pretty solidly for about a week, and I can tell you what I do and do not like about it. So I'm just going to go over that real quick. Now the first thing you might notice is this very large hole or channel in the middle. Now it is quite large. It's 8 inches by 5 inches. So it's quite large, 8 inches by 5 inches. And you see most tool trays out there, they're only 3 inches, 2 inches or so deep, and that's fine for like just throwing a chisel in. But really, honestly, I don't really use chisels that much. I mean, it's usually power tools, sanders and stuff, so I can set most of that in here. And it does collect sawdust, of course. Everything horizontal in your shop is collecting sawdust. And it's really not that big of a problem. I just sweep it out. And if it gets to be too big of a problem, I can always just lay a board across, which I don't think I will. Now, one thing that is negative about this big of a tool tray is that if you have a tool that's in it, and let's say you're standing on the other side of a shop and you're kind of browsing around trying to find that tool, you're probably not going to see it whenever it's sub the workbench height. So that's one thing to consider. Also, in the future, I might make like a tray. I think I'll do that in an upcoming video that has very commonly used stuff in there, so I just don't have like pencils and little things floating around in this tray. So now that I told you what you may not like about the tool tray, I'm going to go over some stuff some advantages of it. And one might be, so if you need to drill a hole in a board and you're always hanging it over here on the workbench, and maybe it's a big forester bit and it just usually doesn't turn out pretty if you're not clamping it. But you can just sit that board right across here and go for it, and if you nail the bottom of your tool tray, then it doesn't really matter because it's a tool tray. Next thing I'd like to cover is the top. Specifically, I'll just go over these panels on either side. It's comprised of a 2x6, a 2x6, and a 2x4 in the middle, and I've just capped it with some mahogany on the ends just to make it look nice. And basically I just screwed this down and then doweled over it with some hardwood dowel. And I like how this turned out, but it was quite hard. If you're not experienced with the hand plane, of course I'm not very experienced. So whenever I went to do it, I got kind of a twist in it, and I had to go back, and it was quite difficult. But I eventually got them flat. And I think if I would do this in the future, I would probably just use a 2x12 because these are only 13 inches wide. Probably just use a 2x12. The only downside to using a 2x12 is that it might warp some, and then you have two warp surfaces, and that's not very fun. Next thing I want to go over is the base. And it's pretty simple, the base, the way I built it. And I have the two-part video series. Part 1 is on the base, part 2 is the top. But basically the base is mostly made of 2x6s. These are 3 2x6s glued and screwed together, and I just plugged the screws with some wood filler. The kind of mix it together and fill it. It's pretty simple. And then this right here, the bottom is this piece of plywood that's recessed on it, and under it is about 100 pounds of sand. So it's quite heavy. And then right here you can see some 2x4s, the ingrained 2x4s, and those are notched in, as well as these 2x6 runners on the bottom. However, it's covered up by this short runner. Now, as far as wood selection goes, I chose just your standard 2x6 from Home Depot because really, I mean, I don't know where else to get wood for quantity like this, because I'm not going to go out and spend a ton of money. This costs about $150 in wood plus screws and glue. And even though I already had the screws, but if I were to buy them again. And anyway, so this piece in the middle, it's also just the 2x4 that they had, and it says Douglas fir on it, but it's a little bit pinker than these white ones, and it kind of looks better than I thought it would be. I thought it would look ugly, but it turned out alright, and I'm kind of happy with how it looks. Now I want to go over what finish I used on the workbench. Now I was contemplating putting a polyurethane finish on it, but for 2 reasons I didn't go for that. A, it's slick, so whenever you have a board on and you're trying to clamp it, you want a surface that has friction, just so your clamp's not doing all the work there. And so I didn't really want like a super slick surface with me. It'd feel good, but it wouldn't be very functional. And another thing, it's a workbench and I hammer on it, and I've already sprayed glue on it, and it's like if that was polyurethane, I wouldn't be very happy with that. And another reason I didn't go with polyacrylic is because it's very difficult to put on. You have to put several coats on just to build it up, and that's just on the flat surfaces. On the horizontal surfaces, you have to put thinner coats, and then you have to put more of them. And I just really don't want to be out of the shop not making sawdust for that long. And so I went with the Danish oil finish. The Danish oil is one of the easiest finishes to apply, and I've just used it in my last project, and it really makes it doesn't make it pop that much really because it's pine, but it kind of turned it from like a bread color to Mexican rice color, so it really didn't do that much to it, but I like how it looks, and it really made these hardwood dowels stand out, and it just made it look more finished. So if you have any questions about this workbench, please ask them in the comments. I'm going to try to do more videos like this where I kind of just talk about things in the shop, because I know woodworkers love that, and I'm a woodworker, so I'm going to do it. And so ask questions, I can answer it in future videos. Make sure you subscribe and like it, and really just subscribe, that'll be good. Now I want to go over why I have this top overhanging 10 inches on this side and 2 inches on this side. And that's because I plan on installing a Yoast vise over here, as well as I plan on, it's good for clamping. And just the other day I was making some drawers, and I found that you just put the edge on this and around the square, and you start planing. You don't even need to clamp it or anything. And of course that's a rare scenario that actually works out, but it did, and that was pretty easy. So I'm glad that I did that. And this end right here is 2 inches, just enough to put a clamp really. And then all the way around the sides right here, this is about 3 or 4 inches. If you have something on your workbench and you want to lay something big out, you just sweep it all in here, and then you have a flat, nice work surface. Because really most of the time I have stuff in the middle of my workbench, so I have to pick just a little bitty corner to work on, and I'm sure that happens to a lot of people. But with this tool tray, you just throw everything that would be obstructing the workbench into the tool tray, and then you all of a sudden have a whole, either half or a whole full workbench to work on. Another thing I'd like to go over is this little tool cart that we made a couple of videos back. I have a video about the tool cart and how I made one of the drawers. And I just wanted to do a quick update on it while we're talking about workbenches and stuff. I made some more drawers to go in the bottom, and these are pretty much the same process that we used in that other video. And anyway, it's simple slides and everything. And so, I'm just going to update y'all on that. I made some mahogany drawer pulls and clear coated them, Danish wool of course. And I don't know whether that would warp or not, and you'll ask somebody if it would warp. I'm pretty sure.